Are you looking for ideas to celebrate Advent in your home? Hi, I'm Christy with Homeschooling in Progress. In this video, I'm going to share with you how we celebrate Advent in our home to give you some ideas to incorporate it into your own. Advent is the liturgical season that comes right before Christmas. It starts on the fourth Sunday before Christmas and ends on Christmas Eve. And there are many different things that we like to do in our home to recognize this season and to remember that it's a season of preparation to prepare not only our homes for Christmas, but also our hearts and minds. And it's also a nice time of reflection and to think about the upcoming Christmas season. So some ways that we do that, I like to have a lot of visuals around the house for the kids to kind of remind them that, it's not quite Christmas yet, that's going to come. And it's something, to definitely look forward to, but that Advent is a beautiful season all on its own. And I want them to see that and to recognize that. So some of the visuals that we like to have are Advent wreaths and an Advent calendar and then nativities throughout the house. Now, the Advent wreath is something you might be familiar with. It's something that, a lot of families do celebrate with. For our house, how we use it, we have it on our dining room table. And each night at dinner, we light the candle before dinner and then leave it on throughout dinner, and then we'll blow it out at the end. We also have a little book on prayers that we can say each day of Advent. You may see those at your church. I know each year my church has them at the back table, and then we just donate like $1 for the cost of the book and then can use it at home. But so each, the candle, if you're not familiar, has 4 candles with it for each Sunday of Advent. On the first Sunday, you'll light one of the purple candles. There are 3 purple and 1 pink. The second week of Advent, you light the second purple candle along with the first one. And then the third week of Advent is more of a joyful day. It's Gaudete Sunday, and we celebrate that as we are, to the halfway point of Advent. We are getting closer and closer to Christmas. And so we light the pink candle along with the 2 purple candles on that day. And then the final week of Advent, we'll light all of the candles. And like I said, we light ours each night. So by the end of Advent, that first purple candle is usually about this big. But it is a nice thing each night at dinner. It leads to a lot of conversation as well about Advent and things going on at that time. And just a word of warning, if you have more than one child at home, you're probably either going to need to assign them a candle or have a rotation schedule as to who gets to light them if they're old enough to do that and who gets to blow them out. Because we've had many an argument through the years for, who gets to blow it out each night. So the Advent wreath is one tradition that we like to have in our home for Advent. Another one, like I mentioned, are the Advent calendars. Those can be lots of different things. They can be just a paper calendar where they have tabs that you open up that usually have like a picture and maybe a verse from scripture in them. There are fabric ones that kind of create a scene. And then they have some that are even like boxes where that can hold trinkets behind the number of the day. So usually those don't follow the true liturgical season of Advent. Most of them start on December 1st. But they are still a nice visual for the kids to see where you're at on the way to Christmas. And again, that's something else. If you have more than one kid, either make sure you have enough calendars for everyone or kind of assign a day. So there's not arguments about who gets to open or put up the picture for the day, the little piece for the calendar. So then along with the Advent wreath and the calendars, I also like to have nativities throughout our house. I have a weakness for nativities, so I think we have one for every room in the house maybe. We do have at least some for the main rooms that everyone's in. We leave baby Jesus out until Christmas, and they're just a nice way for kids to remember the, what this season is about, that we're getting ready for Christmas. Having that missing baby Jesus there is a nice reminder that, he's not here yet. It's not Christmas yet, that we're still in the season of preparation. And then we have a couple that the kids can even play with, and they'll act out the Christmas story, which is nice to see, that they remember that. It's a good reminder of their Bible history. So those are the main visuals that we have around our house for Advent. And then there are also a couple of devotional things that we do throughout Advent. One of those is reading a book, a devotional book. And a few years ago, I found this wonderful series. This one is the first in the series. It's called Jotham's Journey. There are 4 books. I'm pretty sure we're on our 4th book this year. I don't think we've finished that quite yet. But we have Jotham's Journey as the first one. I don't think you really have to read them in any order. But then the next that came out in the series is Bartholomew's Passage, and then Tabitha's Travels, and then Ishtar's Odyssey, which is the one I think we're reading this year. Basically, each book follows the child that the story's about, and it follows them through. There's a chapter for each day of Advent, and then you read the chapter that tells the story, and then at the end they have a little devotion with it that gives the kids something to reflect on. So like this one, and they're very good at telling you which day to read them. So like this says week 2, Saturday. So then the second week of Advent on the Saturday is when you would read this chapter. And I use this as a read aloud, but you read through the chapter, and then at the end they'll have a little star with the devotion part that comes after that. So we'll read through it, we'll read the devotion and discuss that to give the kids something, they can think on until the next day. And that's something we like to do after dinner. So we'll have the Advent wreath during dinner, and then we'll all gather in the family room and read this together. And then that kind of ties in with the next thing that we have that's more of a devotional each day. And that is with the Jesse tree. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Jesse tree, it's basically kind of like a family tree of Jesus. It starts with creation and then goes up to the birth of Jesus. And, kind of hits the people that are in Jesus's lineage, and, talks a little bit about their life. There's usually an ornament that goes with each day that you hang up on your tree, and then a scripture verse that you read that goes along with that ornament. And I just bought, some people use like branches from their yard. I bought one of those small tabletop trees at like Hobby Lobby for half off or something. And so we hang our ornaments on that, and I have it on our prayer table. And we just have it set on our prayer table, and which is in the family room. So it gives a nice tie-in to do Jotham's Journey and then go right to the Jesse tree. If you homeschool, this is also something that can be done if you have a morning time. And so, during December, you can have a special morning basket that you do for December, and the devotionals can be a part of it. Or, I don't actually have ours in our morning basket. I have some other things that we do, but you can, do them any time of day. We just like to do ours in the evening. It's just a nice time to, my husband's home and all the kids are home. So that's when we do ours. Something else that you can do during Advent is kind of focus on the saints that have Advent feast days. We like to celebrate the saints throughout the year. We try to live liturgically throughout the year. And so it's not anything new for my kids to just, hear about a different saint. But we kind of, mention the saints on their feast days. And Advent has some wonderful saints. There's St. Nicholas. We have some books on him. And we have a book about St. Lucy, and her name means light. So usually on St. Lucy's feast day, we will go around and look at Christmas lights. So it's just, a nice way to kind of tie in all of that. And on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary, that's a holy day of obligation, so we'll go to Mass on that day. But then I also try to do like a special dinner that's maybe just a lot of white items to represent her purity, and then we'll have like grilled chicken and fettuccine alfredo. So, just ways for the kids, as they're growing up, they're going to remember that we've done that, and they'll remember the saints in their lives that we talk about. So, you don't have to do something elaborate. You can just read a book about the saint, or just mention, hey, it's the feast day of so-and-so, and they're the patron saint of this. Maybe a little bit about their life if you know it. So, just another way to kind of make Advent a special time for the kids to remember. So, a way to separate Advent from Christmas, and just a nice way to spend time with your kids and, as a family. So hopefully what we do with the Advent wreath and calendar, the Nativities, the Jesse tree, and devotional books like Jotham's Journey that we do, hopefully those give you some ideas on just really simple, easy ways. None of those take very much time. Even the devotions really don't take more, probably not even a half an hour, if that, each night. So it's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of effort. And it's just a really nice way to be able to celebrate the beautiful season of Advent as you're getting ready for Christmas. So I thank you for watching. I hope you have some wonderful ideas to incorporate with your family. And if you have other traditions that you celebrate that I didn't mention, please put those in the comments, because I'm sure the rest of us would like to hear about them too. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any more of my videos. And again, thank you for watching. Happy homeschooling.